Have you ever had pad thai? It's an Asian noodle dish, usually with tofu or chicken or seafood or some kind of meat and a few simple vegetables. I found a great recipe for it on allrecipes.com, uploaded by someone named Transmonicon. It sounds delicious and super simple. Let's make some pad thai. The first thing you will need to do is take a 12-ounce package of rice noodles, this is slightly more, and soak them in cold water until they're soft, 35 to 50 minutes. It is now nice and soft, and you can tell because the pieces will bend very easily. Now drain your noodles. Now you need a pound of chicken, cut into bite-sized chunks. And just to make it easier to cook and manage, I'd start by lightly beating it some, using a meat tenderizer. I would then lightly cut your chicken into bite-sized chunks. So pieces about that size are good. So just make your way across. Take the largest skillet you have. I'm going to start over medium heat and melt some butter in it. 2 tablespoons. 2 tablespoons of butter. It will melt over medium heat. Now that your butter has melted, add your chicken. And I'm going to keep it on medium for now, but eventually you're going for it to be browned. And don't be scared to flip it a few times. So holding it all together, you can cut these as thin or as thick as you like your green onions. Green onions are a staple of Asian food. They're really delicious. My chicken was starting to get white on one side, so I flipped all of them over. Now I'm going to let them get white on the other side. Then I'm going to turn up the heat to a medium-high and really start to brown them on both sides. You will also need a lemon cut into wedges. So again, you can go as big or as small as you want for these. At this point, I would say my chicken is pretty evenly browned on both sides. Drain some of the juices and set your chicken aside. I'm going to put mine on a plate. Now keep your skillet over medium-high heat and add 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. And give it about a minute to heat up. Now we need to cook 4 eggs in the oil until they're firm, which really will not be that long. And I'm gonna break mine up. I'm gonna scramble them. My eggs are getting pretty firm at this point. It'd feel a lot like scrambled eggs, maybe slightly past the consistency that people like them at, but really very similar. Now it says to add your chicken back in and cook this for 5 minutes. So stir this all together for 5 minutes. And you don't have to stir it all the time, but keep an eye on it and let it go for 5 minutes. Now, add your noodles back in, and they might need to be broken apart. I know mine will. So kind of focus on breaking up your noodles, and really make sure you have a huge skillet for this. Alright, so here's my first recommendation. Loosen your noodles up from time to time after you've drained them. Otherwise, they're all going to stick together. Rice noodles are so sticky. So unstick these. I've loosened my noodles slightly, but I'm hoping some of my add-ins help. You need a tablespoon of white vinegar. I'm going to pour that on my noodles. Hopefully it'll loosen them up. Then you need 2 tablespoons of fish sauce. I'm going to use oyster because I like oyster sauce, and I think it's close enough. Oh, it's thicker than I thought. And you can get these sauces in the Asian section. Maybe the seafood, but almost always the Asian food section. Now keep mixing that together. Really keep breaking up your noodles. And your noodles will become tender slowly as they heat up again. You also need 3 tablespoons of sugar. So there's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. Then you need 1/8 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, which is really barely any. So begin to cook those in there, and really just make sure you mix everything as best you can. I just tried some of my noodles, and they were really good and pretty tender. And I'm starting to break them up a decent amount. So at this point, add in 2 cups of bean sprouts. I had to buy the canned variety, which is still fine, but fresh is always better. Now cook these in for 3 minutes. At this point, I've let it cool for about a minute. Add in your crushed peanuts, your green onion, and your lemon wedges. And mix that all together. Alright, I've let a piece cool off a little bit of my delicious pad thai. Or at least I'm assuming it's delicious. Smells great. Tasted good earlier. Oh yeah. The rice noodles are a softness that I love. The peanuts, delicious. Got a few of the bean sprouts, which are great. It's got a little bit of lemon, but it's not way overpowering. This is a really good, amazingly fresh tasting pad thai that is just as good as any pad thai I've ever had. So please, if you like this video, subscribe. And you can make this. It was super easy to make, and you'll make enough for 3 or 4 people, at least. Enjoy!